Hi, this is Mrs. Ingersoll at Glenbrook North, and I'm going to be demonstrating how to do bank reconciliation for the Milie Meter problem. On the left side of my screen, you can see right here that I have Milie Meter's check register or her checkbook. On the right side, I have the bank statement. The problem that we foresee is that the ending balance in her checkbook is 156.31, but the ending balance in the bank statement is 83.76. So they don't equal. So we need to reconcile or compare and contrast the two statements to see how we can come to a balance, a common balance. This ending balance down here should equal the ending balance in your checkbook, and then you know you did it right. The first step I always tell my students is to write the steps right over here. So the first step is do the X's. The second step is do the circles. And the third step is to reconcile, meaning to transfer numbers from numbers that are missing from one doc to the other. Okay, so first thing is I compare every number that is on one sheet to the other sheet. So I first look at the check number 159 and the amount of 2502, and I see that it has cleared from the bank 159 2502. So what I'm going to do is next to that number, I'm going to put an X, and then I'm also going to put an X over here in my checkbook. I'm going to go down the line and I'm going to do that again. So 1065 check. And you can see, by the way, the balances over here got messed up just because there is a math calculation. I'm going to have to go back in and fix that in a little bit, but I want you to see how I'd like you to do it. So again, this is an ATM, so it's not going to have a check number, so I'm going to put an X next to it. And while I'm doing this, you probably want to be doing this on your document as well. You can even pause the video right now as you do this and see if you get the same answer as I do. So the 59 check is the same. Now 302.79 is a credit because it's a deposit. So I'm going to look on the deposit column or the credit column over here, and sure enough, it's there. So I'm going to put an X right by it. I would not put an X in this column right here because visually, or you could, you just got to keep in mind what works for you visually to make sure you don't miss it later. So I put it next to the number. So I would put my X in this box. 1495 I see in both places. 100 I see in both places. 86.94 check 164 I see in both places. So 56.80 is not anywhere on here. I am going to put a circle around this box, and so I am going to, for the purposes, what I'd like you to do is put, a circle, not like an O, but around the entire box, and then we'll go from there. So 2560. Okay, so now I went and I hit 8654 was here. Sorry, I'm backtracking a little bit. And the 1494 we at, right? Okay, so then the $25 deposit right here. I would literally take my pencil and draw a circle around the 25. Because I can't do this during the screencast, what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight it red. You could take a highlighter if you wanted, but I would put a circle around it, or some students end up writing a 0, so not an X. a 0 next to it. But again, that's up to you. I would circle the entire number. It's visually easier to see so you don't miss it. So 2909, 2909, 2560 for checks 167 is in both places. Okay, check it's a deposit for 311.80 is not anywhere on our checkbook. So I'm going to put a circle taking up that entire space. That circle bigger. There we go. Okay, so then this ATM for 100 is not anywhere on this sheet. So again, when it doesn't match, I'm putting a circle around that box. $7 is not on our checkbook. $52.95 is not on our checkbook. And then this $250 is not in our check. Did I mess that up? All right, so these numbers are not in our bank statement, right? And so now this $250 here is not in our checkbook. So I'm going to highlight it red for this situation. But again, I would put a circle around that $2.50. So what do these numbers mean? Well, if you think about it, the bank knows about the $25 and the $250, but you don't have it in your checkbook. So think about it a second. You don't have it in your checkbook. What should you do? If you said to yourself, I should write it in the checkbook, you are correct. So what we're going to do is we're going to date it September 27th. And we don't know who it was a deposit. I always write deposit because I don't like leaving things blank. I'm going to put an X here because the bank already knows about it. And I'm going to add that amount. I'm going to take in my calculator, I'm going to put in my calculator 156.31, and I'm going to add the $25, and I get a new balance of 181.31. Is that what the ending balance of the bank said? No, they said 83.76. Okay, the $2.50, that's a service charge. SC means a service charge. More than likely, Milie Meter went to an ATM that was not from her bank. She went to a foreign ATM and got charged $2.50. So I'm going to add that in, September 30th, service charge. It was a deduction out of her account, so it goes in the debit column. I'm going to put an X here, and I'm again going to recalculate 181.31 in my calculator minus $2.50, and so the new balance is 178.81. You have completed this third step halfway. You have transferred. Okay, so now we have all of these circles, and I'm just going to highlight them so they're easy for us to see. What do these circles mean? Well, all the X's are called canceled checks, meaning they have been canceled out of our bank because they have cleared by the bank. The bank knows about it. They've been processed, and we put an X in here, meaning it's been canceled out of our checkbook. The circled ones, I always remember O for outstanding. These are in our checkbook. We've written them, but they are outstanding from the bank. The bank does not know about them yet, or they have not been processed yet. So we are going to need to subtract or add them to that balance that the bank has, because the bank doesn't know about them yet. So that's what this worksheet down here is for. So we're going to put the ending balance on the statement down here. This says ending balance on the statement. And up here you can see the ending balance on the statement is 83.76. So I'm going to put that in our worksheet, 83.76. Now it says add deposits not shown. That word add tells us what kind of math to do. The deposits not shown, you might want to write yourself a note that the deposits that are circled in our checkbook. Okay, so we go down the line. Anything visually on the left is a check, anything on the right. So 311.80 is circled. I'm going to write that amount right here. And then I'm going to do a subtotal. So I'm going to do the 83.76 in my calculator plus, because it says add, 311.80. And so my new total is 395.56. Next step is to figure out payments outstanding. So payments outstanding, remember that O in outstanding means circles, O in right there. So I always tell my students to write themselves a note. Let me see if I can find a place to write it. Payment outstanding is checks and ATMs circled in checkbook. And I'm giving you a suggestion so you have like an answer key to go to. So the first check that we have circled is check 165. And let me just format this correctly so it ends up showing up correctly for you guys. Uh-oh. All right, so check 165 is $56.80. Then we have the next check over here. Oh, it's not a check, it's an ATM, but we still need to write it in our checkbook. So ATM and $100. The next thing we have circled is the $7, and it was check 168. So I'm going to write 168, and the check was $7. And then we have check 169, again coming from here, and $52.95. And so I'm going to then, in this total, I'm going to total it up. So in my calculator, I'm going to add 56.80 plus 100 plus 7. And for those of you that know, plus 52.95. For you, those of you who know Excel, I know I could be doing a formula right now, but I'm typing it out so you can visually see it. So I did 56.80 plus 100 plus 7 plus 52.95, and the total is 216.75. So it even shows me an arrow. I don't have to memorize this, and it shows me to subtract payments outstanding. I'm going to highlight that for you guys so you can see it tells you what kind of math to do. And so in this box, I'm going to write the answer to 395.56 minus that payment outstanding number here of 216.75. I'm going to hit equal. And then, oops, that should go, sorry, here. I actually had to write 216.75. So I just transferred this number here, I wrote it over here, and then I did the math again I did 395.56 minus 216. So what you need to do is you need to look at these two numbers, 178.81, 178.81. Do we balance? Yes, we do. So now we know our checkbook is totally updated, and we know the bank didn't make a mistake in anything, and you have just reconciled. Good luck. Thanks a lot for watching.